I'm Joe Rapari, and this is Tab, the Truth Always Boomer. Medicare for All is in the news again, so let's pull the tab on that and see what happens. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to talk about this video. It's about Kaitlin Hanover and her Medicare for All story. I'm getting sick and tired of these progressive Democrat congressmen and women taking advantage of people like Kaitlin to push their far-left agenda. Specifically as it pertains to this scam Medicare for All. I don't mean to make light of this story or to minimize the tragic nature of it. It is a tragic story. All I'm going to do is ask questions. So let's begin, shall we?
We're here today for those who are no longer with us because of a broken healthcare system. People like Danny, who walked these halls earlier this year to advocate for Medicare.
As I said, this is a tragic story. But this is, in my opinion, not a story about our broken healthcare system, but a story about personal choices. It is also not a story about Medicare, because Medicare for All is not Medicare and bears no similarities to it whatsoever. Medicare for All is a made-up title for a Democratic political talking point and just a moniker for a complete scam that the progressive Democrats have used to brainwash people like Kaitlin into believing and making her a promise they can't keep. Let's continue.
He was the father of 3 and lived with diabetes. Danny fell into a 3-day coma with a sugar of 1650 a few years ago. And he went from making a 6-figure salary in New York to getting minimum wage in Maryland after he got sick.
He was a father of 3 and lived with diabetes. Danny fell into a 3-day coma with a sugar of 1650 a few years ago. He made a 6-figure salary in New York and then minimum wage in Maryland after he got sick. If he made a 6-figure income, why did he not have the best health care from his employer or pay for the best health care himself? Making 6 figures allows you to afford the best. Having that health care, the first thing his doctors would have given him is a sugar monitor, and the next thing they would have did is put him on insulin. Both paid for by this health plan he should have had. If he was monitoring his blood sugar, how did it get to 1650? Anything over 150, his doctors would have instructed him to get medical attention immediately. If he did not have health care and was not monitoring his blood sugar, that is a personal choice and not the fault of our healthcare system. How did he lose this 6-figure job? Where was his long-term disability benefits from his employer? Why did he not apply for family medical leave, where you can get 14 weeks off? Was he self-employed? All the more reason to pay for good health care with that 6-figure income and take care of his health care and take care of his health issues. Again, personal choices. Let's move on.
The weight of the medical debt and mounting expenses of Danny's health care crushed him. This box is full of all Danny's medical bills and personal debt that he accumulated trying to survive.
Making 6 figures allows an individual the opportunity to buy the best health care on the market. Being paid a 6-figure salary from an employer means that employer is also offering a competitive benefit package, and included in that benefit package would be a good health care policy. Why were his health care and his job not his number 1 and number 2 priorities for his family and their support? Allowing your blood sugar to get totally out of control while you're making a 6-figure income is a personal choice and not the fault of our healthcare system. Next clip.
He started to feel trapped by all these bills and felt that he'd become a financial burden to us, his family. Danny reached out to therapists for support, except he couldn't afford the copays. So he went without mental health care that he needed, and on June 11th of this year, he decided to take his life. We're now without him and dealing with a lot of pain, loss, anger, and questions. I'm sorry, put that. And while the healthcare industry continues to conduct business as usual, Danny's children and loved ones will never be able to see him again.
Danny reached out to therapists, but he couldn't afford the copays. That means he had medical insurance. Even with a low-level plan, a copay would be approximately $150 to $175 for a visit. He couldn't afford that for a once-a-month visit to a therapist to help with his mental issues and keep his family life stable. Again, the only reason he had a box full of medical bills is that while making a six-figure income, he made the personal choice not to take care of his blood sugar issues and let them get totally out of control. That was a choice he made. Last clip.
Story and for having the courage to share it so that we can make it different for other people. Thank you so much.
And look at that. Another unprincipled, dishonest, and lying Democrat, Representative Pramila Jayapal, pandering to Kaitlin and ensuring her that her story will make a difference and push the progressive Democratic agenda that is the scam of Medicare for all. Brainwashing her into thinking the government has all the answers and that Medicare for all will fix everything. It won't. Again, a very tragic story, but a story nonetheless about personal choices and not about our healthcare system. I wish Kaitlin and her family all the best. My next video, I will be telling my story about my healthcare experiences. A story that doesn't fit into the progressive Democratic agenda of everything being doom and gloom when it comes to our country. Well, that's it for this video, everyone. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. It would be greatly appreciated. That's it for now. More news later. Take care, and as always, be safe.